digesting, like avocados or any sort of fat.
Uh-huh.
Will that change after I fast? Do I want to be eating any fat?
Well, I don't know whether it'll change for you or not, but the odds are good that it will. What's going to happen for most of you is your digestion by the time you're finished here is going to be much better than it was when you got here. You're going to feel and function much better than you did before you got here, and you should be able to eat some of ripe avocados. You don't want to overeat them, but you should be able to handle some ripe avocados, and they're perfectly fine to eat. You don't need to eat them. You don't ever need to eat concentrated fat, because every single living cell, the cell nucleus is made of fat. So you can't eat real food without eating fat, and the structure of the cell is made of protein. So you can't eat, I mean, I get my fat and protein some days eating only watermelon and papaya. Okay, there's all you need, if your body's efficient enough. Some people can't get enough protein unless they eat animal products. Why? Well, it's because they're dehydrated and their bodies don't work very well. But once your body is hydrated and working efficiently, you should be able to get everything you need eating only fruit and simple salads. You want to eat avocados, you can, as long as you don't overdo it, but you don't have to. And you literally, I mean, again, you know, I was reminded again, I think we had just talked about it the day before. I said, yeah, nuts and seeds, I don't want to eat them. I ate some coconut flesh, and my body said, yeah, not really such a good thing.
I have earwax.
You have earwax. Well, thank you for sharing.
Is it okay during fasting to use Q-tips?
It would be better not to. Yeah. Q-tips are always potentially harmful and really best not to use. You want to be very careful with them if you're going to use them. You can actually compact the material, and they've actually shown that the cotton, because the tissue inside the ear is so sensitive, you can actually create little micro tears in it. So it's probably better to just let it exit on its own, and it often will. Maybe some warm water might help.
Your urine still has like the uric acid and still has a strong smell to it.
Mine or yours?
Yours, right? Well, it shouldn't.
How do you know?
Well, I'm just asking because you never talked about that. If you're exercising, you're producing acids. And,
Yeah.
Right. So that can still be potentially you're getting rid of toxins, right?
Well, you're getting rid of excess urea. Your body, there is some urea in the bloodstream, needs to be, but you're going to get rid of any excess that's there. You're going to get rid of excess nutrients. There won't be a lot of toxins. There's some things that are, remember that every cell in the body, 70 trillion of them approximately, is like an organism, a separate organism. It has to eat, it has to process that food, and it has to eliminate the waste. Your body has to carry that cellular waste away. That's toxic, that's cell poop. You don't really want that in the body, right? So yes, that's being eliminated, and most of that winds up in the bloodstream and is then eliminated through the kidneys. But most of the time, what I find is that my urine is relatively pale. It'll be clear to very pale yellow. It will have virtually no odor most of the time, and it changes depending on what I consume. Most of the time, with watermelon and everything else I'm normally eating, it's not an issue. On Wednesday, I went to the beach, and we brought 4 coconuts, and I hadn't really had much else to consume that day, so I thought I'll just drink the coconut water, and realized, oh, it's not really enough. I'd been body surfing at that point for probably an hour, and I really wanted more. So someone just asked me about coconut flesh. I ate the coconut flesh. Yesterday, I noticed, my body odor is much stronger than usual. Still not really strong, but much stronger than usual. My urine probably had more of an odor to it as well. Just 2 coconuts worth of soft, tender coconut flesh. Not hard stuff, never. But it's amazing the impact that makes.
Can you grow papaya and mango in greenhouse in Colorado?
Can you grow papayas and mangoes inside your house in Colorado?
Greenhouse.
In a greenhouse? Yeah, we talked about this, I think, the other day a little bit. Theoretically, it's possible to grow these things inside a greenhouse. The question is regarding pollination. So you may have to hand pollinate the flowers yourself if there's no pollinators for them. I mean, and to have a pollinator, you need the right critters, bees, wasps, butterflies, hummingbirds, etc. But you also need the other tree. And you're not going to find a lot of mango trees in Colorado, so you may have to hand pollinate. I think theoretically it's possible to do. A mango's a big tree. You can keep them smaller. If you go to Israel, they grow mangoes. They grow all kinds of tropical fruit now in the desert in Israel. I mean, unfortunately, they're like using all the fresh water to do this. It's not a great idea. They're now starting to desalinate seawater to get enough water because they need it. But what they do there is they keep the trees pruned really tight. So they're producing, you'll see mango farms where the trees are no more than maybe 2 or 3 meters wide instead of 15 that they would naturally grow to. You produce the fruit at the end of the branch only, mangoes. Mangoes grow at the end of the branches. So if you prune at the right time, you can still produce fruit on a very compact tree. And that means it requires less water, right? Less space. You can also grow dwarf varieties. There are trees that will never get, in all different species. There are hybrids, which are dwarf varieties, which means they won't get very tall. So someone asked me about climbing a palm tree the other day to get coconuts, because coconut palms can often be 15, 20, 30, 40 feet high. Anybody want to climb 40 feet up into a coconut palm with just your hands and feet around this little thing? That sounds a little scary to me. We have some dwarf coconut palms here, they're not producing yet, where we'll always be able to pick the fruit, the coconuts, without climbing a tree. You can stand on the ground and pick the coconuts, because they never get any taller than that. That's useful. I mean, that, if you want to grow inside a greenhouse, this might be a good idea, is to pick dwarf varieties, but you still may have an issue with pollinators, right? There may be, you may not have the pollinators you need, you may not have the pollen you need to have a male in most cases. I talked the other day about some trees that can self-pollinate, but most species don't do that.
How are you able to tell male and female?
How can you tell males and females?
Yeah.
You ask the nursery experts. I don't know.
Papaya is easy.
What?
The papaya, the male tree has the flowers that are on long stem. Female tree, flowers right on the long stem.
Right against the trunk.
Tell by,
Yeah, with papayas it is easy, but it's not, I don't know how to tell with most fruit trees, do you? Yeah, papayas are relatively easy. With most, it's not so easy to tell. But like if you're buying trees with many species, you want female trees because that's who produces the fruit. The males don't produce fruit, not edible fruit. So, but you may need to have a male. So if you're going to plant, let's say 10 trees, you might want to get 7 or 8 females and 2 or 3 males to make sure that they're pollinated.
Would water fasting cure or like reduce varicose veins?
Yeah. So, first of all, to be absolutely clear and as precise as possible, fasting doesn't cure anything, right? What fasting does is it allows your body to get out of the way so the body can heal itself, because the body does all the healing. But yes, varicose veins will usually disappear, diminish, or disappear if you fast long enough. Is anybody here dealing with varicose veins that they know of? Yeah? Have you seen any change yet? You've just started. They hurt? Okay. Anyone notice them disappearing already? No? We have one person here, but it's not my place to speak up. One person who has noticed this happening already.
cool.
Yeah. Ian's question is, if we can't get fruit, what should we eat? Rice, beans? I said you should fast. Okay? I mean, I've been in situations where, maybe I've been at a place and that evening, those 3 hours, 4 hours, wherever I am, there's nothing there for me to eat. So I don't eat anything, okay? And it always shocks me when someone says to me, I'll get emails from people that say things like, yeah, I went to this place and all they had was pizza, so I ate pizza. So that's all there was. And I'll say, hey, you remember that time 6 months ago? You came here and you skipped, 63 meals in a row or 80 meals in a row. You couldn't skip one meal. Like, it wouldn't kill you if you didn't eat anything that night. That's what I'll do, is I just won't eat, okay? He said, what if it's a month? I'm okay, so, if there's a nuclear catastrophe and there's no food available, then I guess you eat whatever you have to stay alive, including rice and beans, if that's all there is, right? Until that happens, I'm gonna plan on eating fruit and leafy greens only, and I don't have any rice or beans set aside. I'm not gonna worry about that. If it happens, I'll figure something out. So the question was, when you go off the fast, how do you know how to regulate the amount of water that you need? So during your week of refeeding here, a week for you, for some people it might be shorter or longer, during your week of refeeding, you're going to continue to get your vital signs taken every day. I'm going to tell you whether you're getting enough water or not. And hopefully what happens is by the time you get home, you'll have enough practice that you'll know what it feels like, okay? Now, one of the things that you can kind of count on is that if your last days here, you're consuming 1,200 calories of fruit and needing to drink 4 liters of water every day, when you get home, it's not all of a sudden going to go to 2,400 calories of fruit, in 1 liter. Like, nothing's going to change dramatically from one day to the next. So if you've been thriving, eating 1,200 calories of food roughly, and drinking 4 liters of water, you should probably keep doing roughly that. And most of you are going to need to keep doing essentially what you're doing now to the best of your ability. It's going to get a lot harder when you're eating and being busy. You're going to have if you're having a hard time getting 4 or 5 liters in now, good luck when you can't drink before you eat, with your meals or after you eat, and you've got other things in life to do. It's going to be hard to get all that water in. This is why getting fully hydrated is so important, because you can dramatically reduce your body's need for water, and then it's easy to meet. Okay, but you're still going to have plenty of help before you leave to have a better understanding of what your needs are at that point in time. Hi, enjoying my videos? If you'd like to learn much more, check out the Academy for Vibrant Living, where our Vibrant Health course will teach you everything you need to know to take your health to an amazing new level. And if you'd like to turn your passion for health into a lucrative career, check out the Health Coaching course, where you can become a professional certified health coach and help as many people as possible see amazing results.